Y'all remember the good old days where everybody was telling you to get into Airbnb? We're talking about 2020, 2021, even 2022 a little bit. Remember those days? It's looking like they long gone now. If you didn't get in while the getting was good, it's looking like it might not be the best time to get in now. Listen, family, you already know what to do. And if you're brand new too, thumbs up this video so YouTube can push this content out. Smash subscribe to join the tribe and ring the post notification bell as well. All right, let's get into it.
Get an Airbnb, they said. You will make money, they said. No, you actually won't. You know why? Because you're going to have dumb-ass people that end up staying there. Tell me why I had this guest that stayed and then literally lied to Airbnb, said that they didn't stay. So they got to stay for free. They got everything reimbursed. Not only that, they stole a bunch of shit. Like, they literally stole a bunch of shit. And then they gave a bunch of 1-star reviews. And because of that, my Airbnb was blocked for the whole month of July. And, like, not because of that, I can't even pay the rent for it because it was blocked. And then when I called Airbnb back and forth multiple times, they never solved my problem. They said they'd call back in 15 minutes. And then they wouldn't. So, yeah, if you're gonna make one, just be wary of that.
Justin, is Airbnb still profitable in 2025 or is the gold rush over?
I'm going to tell you the gold rush is over, even though I own an Airbnb. Here's the deal. So there is still a couple situations. If you had owned an Airbnb before all these property prices went up and you were able to have a lower mortgage or maybe none at all because you got a cheap home and fixed it up and you're renting it, you're okay. There's another situation. Let's say you've got something on the water, a very nice property. You can rent at a very high dollar mark a night. You're super host status. You've been doing it a while. You're established. You're making a profit. Besides that, though, if you're a real estate investor and you're like, I'm going to go buy a rental and, I'm going to Airbnb it and I'm going to make a ton more than long-term renting it. No, you're not. The fact of the matter is the people that do the educational courses on Airbnb make more than the friggin' people that own them. All right, that's the truth, okay? Airbnbs don't make a lot. Let me tell you what, I like it still though, personally. Your property's getting cleaned every week. It's gonna stay in mint shape. The other reason is because if you've got the proper licenses to do Airbnb, you don't have to evict Airbnb guests. You can call the police and tell them, get them out of there. I like that personally. I have more control over my property and it's gonna stay in better shape. Now, here's the deal. Simple answer, Airbnb is no longer going to print for you, man. Probably better off just long-term renting it, unless you want to keep your property clean.
It's time to go back to the good old normal rentals. The normal leasing process gets you one tenant and rent to them for a long duration of time. And then once they're done, you get another one. Instead of doing short-term rentals, person to person. It's seeming like that's long gone now at this point. See, with these waves, you got to kind of get in. Because they are waves. You got to get in while it's hot and get out. You got to know when to exit too. That's the name of the game. That's the name of business, knowing when to exit. A lot of people made all of their money and then they started selling courses on it when it started to dry up. When the market started to kind of go down, then people were selling courses. They weren't even in the game no more.
3 businesses I would stay away from in 2025. These businesses already started doing bad in 2024. I expect them to get decimated in 2025. Number 3 is the restaurant business. Now, this already has razor thin margins in a good economy, and there's already a lot of competition in a good economy. When things start to turn down, people absolutely will stop going out to eat. That is not an industry I'd want to go into right now. Number 2, the trucking industry. Now, there's big multi-billion-dollar trucking companies that are always going to do well, but if you are someone that's wanting to start your own hotshot deal, go out and buy a truck and a trailer and finance and go out and start fresh in this industry, it is in a recession. It is a terrible time. Maybe in about 2 years, but right now I absolutely would stay away from it. Number 1, real estate, but we're specifically going to talk about Airbnbs. You want to talk about a crowded space? This is overcrowded, overpriced, high interest rates, just the juice ain't worth the squeeze right now. In a couple years, I absolutely expect after a correction happens, this to be a juicy industry to get into, but I would stay away from all 3 of these businesses for at least the next year, probably 2 years starting in 2025.
I'm quitting Airbnb. It just doesn't make sense anymore.
Something changed recently, and it is the nail on the coffin for Airbnbs in California. SB 584 is presenting a tax like I've never seen before, like higher than the TOT tax. That's kind of wild.
Anytime you go to book a hotel or a short-term rental, you're already taxed a transient occupancy tax, and it's usually around 10%. And this new tax is on top of the transient occupancy tax.
Hotels and short-term rentals bring in a ton of money for our city.
The tax money is to go towards building building affordable housing units.
Currently, the city only spends $3 million of their budget on an affordable housing reserve. Most of the money goes to general government and the police.
It all sounds really great in theory, but will it actually work? And what am I going to do with my house?
The Airbnb collapse is real, and it's here. Here are the top 5 cities getting hit the hardest. Number 5, Sevierville, Tennessee, with a 48% loss of rents from May of last year. Number 4 is Austin, Texas, with a 48.6% loss. Number 3 is Kalispell, Montana, with a 49.2% loss. Number 2 is Lake Havasu, Arizona, down 50.4%. And number 1, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, down 52.9%. This is why I've been saying this for the last 3 years. If you're going to buy an Airbnb, run the numbers based on a long-term rental. So when there's an economic downturn and people stop traveling, your asset isn't put at risk of not being cash flow positive. So in these 25 cities, expect a lot of homes to hit the market.
I remember there was a policy to where in certain locations you couldn't even run Airbnb. They started to crack down and people started to get out. Then it was another thing where they were limiting the amount of Airbnb units you could have. I remember that happened too. Now I heard about it. I'm not in the space, so I don't know if it really happened or if it was just talk. You know, something they was talking about. Y'all let me know in the comments.
This morning I woke up to my Airbnb guys calling me saying that there's a huge crash sound at the Airbnb, and it sounded like a whole bunch of pew pew shots, and it wasn't good. Something bad happened. I was in the area, so I came over to the house right away to see what happened, and this is what I found. This tree completely fell and destroyed the shed. Didn't fall and destroy that shed though, just this one. Really sucks that I was using this as like a storage shed, so I'm gonna have to get rid of it and everything. But yeah, I don't know what happened. It's crazy to me because this tree is like 30 years old and I've owned the house for just over a year, and right when I own the house, this 30-year-old tree decides to fall. It's not even my tree, it's the neighbor's tree, but it fell completely on there. And then this branch also snapped and fell completely on. Almost hit this one. Here for the next few hours getting rid of this and probably spend $1,000 and people to help and a trailer to get all the debris.
My buddy called me up to let me know his Airbnbs are making no money at all, and he's losing money, and he's desperately trying to sell them down in Florida and wants to know what he should do. This is the same guy that called me up and said, why are you telling people to get out of Florida and sell in Florida? And this was 2 years ago. I said, I warned you. I told you what was coming. And now you want to know what you can do? You're too late. You're too late. Because the price that you have to sell at now, you're going to lose money. So you know what's going to happen to those 3 properties you have? You're going to lose them. That's what's going to happen. Because you're not going to be able to sell them. At least not for any type of profit. So stand in line. There's going to be a lot of people just like you because you waited too long. And I warned you, and you laughed. Now you're stuck.
We manage Airbnbs in 8 markets right now around the country, stuff that I own, but also for a lot of third-party owners as well as our investors. And so we have a good pulse of what's going on in the Airbnb market. The numbers right now in all the markets that we manage in are tremendously down from 2021 when everyone's on lockdown. People were traveling domestically. No one was traveling internationally at that time. And so if you look at the regulatory environment out there, we just saw what happened in New York City. They just banned short-term rentals. San Diego just regulated. Airbnb is going away in a lot of markets around the country right now. And so as that happens, it's bringing more demand back to the boutique hotels. And so I'm seeing the writing on the wall. I see a lot of people on social media pushing the Airbnb thing right now, pushing their online coaching businesses. I'm like, dude, if you're getting in the fucking Airbnb game right now, I'm sorry, but you're like 5 years late to the fucking party. So I'm zigging when there's a zagging, and we're going all in the boutique hotel space.
See, now I'm glad I didn't get into Airbnb. This was something I wanted to get into, but at the time, I was heavily invested in my clothing brand, Only Escape, and I didn't want to jump into a new industry I knew nothing about, right? I was willing to take courses and do all of that, get mentors. My friend even had me on calls because he wanted to go full force with it. He's into real estate, but he does fix and flips. But he basically had me on a call with a guy, and it just didn't sound right, what he was advertising to me. And I knew that Airbnb was taking a turn. I knew that the markets must have been drying up by what he was selling to me. what he was telling me didn't seem right. You know, I got discernment, so I'm like, nah, something ain't right. My boy was like, nah, I'm ready to send him the money. I'm ready to send him the 5,000. I'm like, nah, something don't seem right, brother. And I didn't get in. And now we seeing the markets, the Airbnb markets are drying up. They're saying it's better to just do normal rentals, man. Let me know what y'all think about this. Were you in Airbnb and had to get out? Or did you think about getting into Airbnb but didn't have either the capital or the knowledge and you glad you didn't? Drop it below in the comments, y'all. It's your brother YT. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate you for watching, man. Peace into my Hebrew family. Shalom.